Good morning, everyone. Stephanie McAuliffe here, the Illuminator for Leaders. Back again for our weekly talk about change. And today we're talking about the 7-letter C word. And that can bring all kinds of things up in your mind. The 7-letter C word is control. Now we sometimes in our mind have told ourselves that change is hard. But sometimes, because of what we do within our minds, we actually make it harder than it needs to be. And we do this by trying to change the people in the situation that we're in. And when you do this, what you're actually doing is locking the negative energy within yourself, and you're making the process way longer than it needs to be. And when I talk about locking the energy within yourself, if you think about it, you can, I'll use the analogy of making a batch of cookies. I don't know why cookies, but you know what? You can make it really quickly and then they go in the oven. Or you can really slow down the process. And if you think about sometimes how much more energy it takes to do things when you're doing them slowly than when you're doing them quickly, it's like you can almost feel that within your body. And you know what? Control can be good. So you can control the process in any way that you want. And you know, you control yourself from going and running around naked in a fountain. So that is good, unless you really want to be running around naked in a fountain. And then, well, you know, that's a choice that you're making, and that's where play and fun come into all of this. But when you are in that challenging situation and trying to slow things down, and especially if you're trying to control the other person, that's where we create trouble for ourselves. And I will use a personal example. When I was married to my first alcoholic, rather than doing what I needed to do for myself, I was more concerned on how can I control his drinking? How can I get him not to drink? And so all of that energy of fear and worry, and if you think about it, control is all about the fear that we feel in a situation. All of that control and fear went into my body because I was worried about what's he going to be like when I get home? What's he going to do when I get home? How are we going to deal with such and such? And so rather than come to, you know, the conclusion of, which is what eventually happened, I need to leave to take care of myself, I was focused on him, and I was focused on how I could control his drinking. Now we know that we really don't have control over anybody else. We can try to discipline our children, and if you're a boss, you have some modicum of control over your staff. But when you squeeze so tightly, you're locking, like I said, that energy within you of that fear and worry of what is the other person going to do. You know, and on the opposite, when things are really good, do you also go into the mindset and the thought of, this is too good to be true and I can't allow all this goodness in? So again, and it's an automatic response that we go into. But when we're trying to block the bad out or not allow the good in, we're not allowing the full flow of energy through us. And it's coming to the state of being an awareness. Because When you're aware that you're trying to control a situation, you can say, all right, how can I change this so I can do something better for myself, rather than focusing on what the other person is doing. And so what it really all comes down to is trust. And do you trust yourself? And so I'm here on this bridge, and I'm here at my river walk, and I can trust that the water is flowing. I can trust that this bridge will bring me to the other side, or take me from one side to the other. And sometimes that's all you need, is to know that there is a bridge there for you, and that things are going to flow around you, and people are going to do whatever they're going to do. And so if you are in the middle of a situation, what one thing can you do for yourself today to step more deeply into the trust within yourself, regardless of what the other person is doing? Because this is when that 7-letter C word of control loses its grip within you, and you actually step into and are open to receive whatever good wants to come in, but then also don't block in that energy that you may have been focusing on that doesn't want to be locked within you. And this is allowing change around us without getting locked into it. I'm Stephanie McAuliffe, the Illuminator for Leaders. I will be back here again next week to continue our conversation on change. And as always, if you feel stuck and you don't know how to find your way out of a situation that you're in, sometimes it comes down to the energy that you've locked within your body. And as a master healer, this is one of the things that I focus on. So don't suffer in silence, and don't try to, I'm going to show you the river again, try to control all that water that's flowing around you. Sometimes all we need is a little bit of help to get us through and get to the other side. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you here again next week. Bye.